Hey, this is Steven, and welcome back to Steven's Classic Garage. So, today is February 1st, 2020, and I wanted to give my standard 11 1/4 minute update video. We're going to be talking about the Rabbit here and also the Mustang here. So, let's go ahead and give you a little update on the Rabbit. So the Rabbit, last time you saw it was I put this coating on it, and I talked about how I got rid of the rust with muriatic acid, which is a 30% mixture of hydrochloric acid, 30% to water, I believe. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like for the console that I installed. So I ended up installing the console. And so let's show you and talk a little bit about it. Whoa, okay. So here is the console. So this is a standard console that you would see inside of maybe a GTI or a Scirocco. I think mainly these came in Siroccos, and you can see it's pretty sweet. It kind of hides the heater box, and what I like the most about it is it goes in flush with the dash. You see that? It's got this cutout here, and it just slides in and goes flush with the dash really nicely. You can see how flush it is there. Super nice. The one issue that I have with it is, if you can notice, it's a slightly different color than the dash. Maybe if I hit it with some rubbing alcohol, it might clean up and look exactly the same color as the dash, because I didn't really clean it before I put it in here, but I could still do that. So it's got the two gauge pods. I'll probably do, when I do the turbo, my idea is to run like a 4-in-1 here, like all the temperatures and oil pressure. So like water temp, EGT exhaust temp, maybe oil temp, and then oil pressure. So like I'm thinking like 4 main ones, and then maybe like a digital or something in the center. But what I wanted to do on this is make everything analog, so make everything kind of stock looking, even though it wouldn't be. So maybe design my own gauge for that, because all that stuff you could get just electronic pickups for that kind of stuff. Temperature, you could have just either an RTD resistance temperature sensor, right? Or get a thermocouple and just get a digital signal, right? So I could do that, and then pressure, just a pressure transducer for oil pressure, and then for this side do like boost, and then maybe AFR, air fuel ratio, or something like that on that side. So that is my plan for that side. And that's my plan here. Again, I talked about my plan up here for the dash was behind these, put tiny little screens behind these to do like a heads-up display for the driver. So when you turn it off, when you turn the car off, it looks stock. It looks like it is right now. But when you turn it on, some red font will show up behind there. For example, that's the battery. So for there, it would show like 12 volts or 14 volts or whatever. And then for oil up there, it'll show like oil pressure. And then maybe like a timer for the glow plugs, or put something else there for the glow plug right there, light. And then that one is a temperature light, so I'll put like temperature there. But remember, I'm switching out this particular cluster. I have the new cluster with the dual RPM, so it's a little bit different. And then somewhere up there I'll put boost gauge, but it's the new cluster is different than this one. Alright, so issue with this guy is, so that's there, and then the other thing is the putting the turbo on, doing custom exhaust, custom headers, and then pretty soon doing at least the most current thing that I'm going to do is the cold air. So put a funnel up over there by that vent. Let me show you really quick before I talk more about this console. So put it here inside this vent here, and then also open up the grill to get it ready, and then look for an intercooler for the turbo. So need to do that so it mounts up to the snorkel. So that I might even do this weekend, so we'll see. Here, so it has 2 mounting holes, one here, and then one down here. This one I would have to go through the floor, but on this car it goes right to the heater box, right? So there's nothing there really to grab onto these holes. So what I might do is I might 3D print some bolts, some nut holders, and then put the nut in the back of a 3D printed nut holder, and then hot glue it onto the heater box, so these guys bolt up there, and then that way it won't vibrate so much. And then put some velvet or some foam or something in here, so when I put my glasses or my cell phone, the funny thing is actually my shitty cell phone will actually fit right in there. And same thing with my sunglasses, which I have on, fit perfectly in there, right? So excellent box, I really like it. So maybe do some sort of custom something where I have like 2 levels or something. And then this guy, so to take the other cluster out, all you have to do is there's 2 bolts down here. You unscrew those 2 bolts, and you take off the boot first, and the boot is just a clip-on. So you just put your fingers behind here and you pop it off, and what it is the boot is stapled onto a piece of plastic. The piece of plastic has some metal clips on it, so that when you push it in, it pops into this hole. So you just unclip this, and the stock console has 2 bolts right here. And then it has a second bolt inside that cubby of the stock one, but these cubbies are way better. So put 2 bolts there. I don't know about this one. I might do that one straight through the sheet metal. We'll have to see. Or I'll glue something to the floor maybe, and then it just goes to the floor. Now on the driver's side, this is the main issue I have with this console. And because I had my water temp up there, I had to cut my water temp down, so there's my water temp gauge right there. If you notice, it is very, very close to my throttle. So it has this random like foot thing there for some reason. So I'm thinking maybe of getting rid of that and somehow getting this up and over in, so modify this maybe a little bit to get it to go up and in, so it's out of the way of my foot. And so at least it's flush with the top of this here. So that's the one issue I have there. So stay tuned for an update on that, and I'll talk more about this guy. I got that for about $150 or so. So we'll see. Either I sell it or I modify it. Those are the 2 options I have. Sell it and get rid of it, because right now it's a little bit, it doesn't look good how close it is to my foot. So with this guy, it's completely kind of skinned almost. I have one more piece on here on the Mustang. I have the passenger side fender. Driver's side fender is over there. And so I have passengers. So this is what I have left on the car. I have the passenger side fender, and then I had an issue with the driver's side fender, which I painted last weekend in my paint booth. I had a run in the base coat, so I need to fix that before I do the clear coat. And then I have the front and back valance, and then I have the other random things like the grill stuff and the back little quarter extensions. So I got those as well. So here is the driver's side. It looks like it's just got some water on it. So this is not clear coated, and the reason being is this. And so what I did is I had to run there, and I tried to see if I could get some paper towel or something and kind of do that, but that didn't work, but I tried. And then the other thing is when I picked it up, I reached around and I put my hand right there. And so I kind of screwed up the paint there. So maybe I could also sand that area. And I plan on clearing this with the passenger side when I put it in there. Otherwise, it looks really, really good. And I've since got my painting dialed in, because now what I'm using is every time I take the can out of the garage, the can is so cold because it's so cold in the garage. The can is like 50-something degrees, right? And so I actually bought a little scientific heater with a little magnetic mixing rod that you put in there. And I'll have to do a video about that, because I think that's very important. And so here, this was probably the best panel that I painted so far. This is the hood. I painted this the week before. It's not last week, but the week before. and it came out amazing. But it's starting to orange peel because of the reaction, because of the lacquer versus the urethane clear. So it's starting to orange peel, but this is very manageable. And you can see it's still very shiny, and I do have a bump. You'll see it. I'm going to try to move it around the window. Let me see if I can get you. There you go. You see it distorting the bottom corner of that window? There's a dent right there upwards. So I'm going to have maybe a paintless dent removal guy help me with that. So these are the panels that I have. Trunk lid over there. Driver side door, passenger side door, and you can see he's got some major runs that I have to sand out of the clear. But all that stuff could be fixed in the cut and buff, and you can see that the orange peel there is way worse than the orange peel here. So I'm definitely getting better, and can't wait to paint this and the passenger side. So today, the first, I'll be prepping the passenger side, doing the guide coat and then sanding. And then I will be painting it and clearing it tomorrow, as well as clearing this one as well when I get to the clearing stage. So stay tuned for more updates.